Welcome to this episode of DIY3DTech.com. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at this stuff from an air quality standpoint. This is bridge nylon. So I'm not really sure. I'm sure that there's some things mixed in with this in reference to pure nylon. So this is what I've actually run the test on that I'm going to talk about. And so I'm referencing this back to nylon. So there might be some differences between this and actual nylon with regards to the results if you use pure nylon. But this seems to be the most common thing. And it's what I use to print with when I go to print nylon. So this is going to be the basis for a test. But before we get there, my standard disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I haven't played one on TV. Never been asked to. Don't even watch Grey's Anatomy, or is Grey's Anatomy even on? I don't know anymore. Anyways, so none of this is a guarantee of safety or anything like that. So at your own risk, I'm simply sharing the data that I've collected from my tests, printing this stuff and measuring it. So with that being said, I'm going to start the run up here, ABS. Nylon on this side, and let's see. So in the meantime, we're going to jump in, and while this is running, so you can kind of see as an example, because I've been running the ABS versus whatever I've been talking about up in the corners as reference, is we're going to jump in. I'm going to do a screen overlay like I typically do, and I'm going to talk about what we found. So again, I've set up the enclosure, I've printed this stuff, did several tests. Actually, I ran this test twice because the first test kind of didn't work the way I wanted to, but second test did. So, and both basically came out the same. So, but I just wanted to make sure I was at least being semi-scientific, if you will. So, with this being said, one of the big things that we see is we do see an increase in particles, and we do see a little bit of shift here from the past several filaments that we've looked at, being PETG, PLA, and TPU. With the fact is we're now seeing higher, well, not only a higher, but also a difference between the the PM10 and the PM2.5. So the microparticles are the PM2.5s, and the regular particles or the larger particles are the PM10s, denoting their size. So with that, one of the things that we're looking at here is the particulate count. So see here a slight difference. So we are showing a little bit bigger particles here by 1/12. However, too, there's also a fair amount of particulate release here. Now, obviously not as high as HIPS or ABS. At 13 to 12 is not a huge number. But it is an interesting number, and obviously compared to PETG, PLA, and TPU, it is substantially higher, which is making me rethink my thoughts about printing nylon in the open, because basically what I do is I've actually, if you look back, have converted to want-how to print nylon and TPU on a phenol bed, because that's what nylon tends to like to stick to. Is it the best really to be, printing out in the open like this? So one of the things I did is I went back and I looked at the more formal studies. What is this releasing? So basically what nylon releases when it's printed is, and I'll do a bit of an overlay on here, is caprolactam. And I'm not sure if I got that right. Caprolactam. I guess that's how you pronounce it. So caprolactam, and now I went to what I should explain is I went to the CDC website. So this is off the CDC. So a couple different things. So effects of short-term exposure, which obviously this is what we're going to have in 3D printing, is irritation to the skin. Vapor will irritate the eyes and respiratory tract. Inhalation of the vapor may cause effects on the central nervous system. Well, that can't be good. That's got me thinking a little bit. Do I want to really be breathing this in? Because again, how much? And the other piece is, again, keep in mind with the ultrafine particles, those have the ability to enter your bloodstream very easy and cannot be, well, I shouldn't say cannot be, but are not typically filtered out by either mechanical filtration systems or your biological filtration systems as the larger particles are. So this is an important thing to keep in mind. So with that being said, too, effects of long term. Now, again, maybe you're printing a lot of nylon, etc. So substance may have effects on the central nervous system and the liver. So again, I just got me thinking about this a little bit. Now, I don't print a ton of nylon. So I'm not going to run down the street on this one, but I am going to rethink if I should vent the nylon like I do the ABS and hips. And so this may be something that I want to consider doing. But outside of that, you know, again, this has been the biggest thing that I've seen with this, and we have a little bit higher numbers. I may do some more experimentation with the bridge nylon. So, but again, it's pretty clear. Now, total volatiles, you know, again, it seemed to average a little bit, you know, so I gave it a 1. But, you know, not seeing a lot of total volatiles come out of this. And I think, again, it goes a little bit back to what I talked about in not the last video, but the prior one, when I conversed with Gothboy UK about the sensitivity of the meter with reference to the total volatiles in this scenario. So again, I think maybe there's more, maybe there's not. But again, in the formal studies, I didn't see a lot or really anything of them talking about VOCs or total volatile or volatile organic compounds with regards to nylon. So I'm not sure if it's a big thing or not. They didn't talk much about nylon, and most of the studies focused around either ABS or PLA. So I've only seen really one study that included nylon, and again, that's where I came up with this caprolactam, so as being the output particulate. So anyways, hopefully you found this interesting. Now, one of the things in the next video, I'm going to do sort of a wrap-up and kind of talk about some of this in a bigger picture standpoint. The other thing is I am going to do the wrap-up, but by popular request, I've been asked to do ASA. So this is a rather new filament. Seems to be a UV-resistant filament. It does appear to be very much like ABS or HIPS. In the fact it is styrene based, so I'm kind of expecting it to fall in the categories with ABS and HIPS, but I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. So I've ordered a roll of it. Stuff is not really cheap, so it's about 34 to 50 bucks a roll. Now, I did order the clear because I want to try to make some use out of it in one way or another. Because even if I print it in my, you know, one of my vented printers, then so be it. So anyways, it's not going to have a pigment. I'm not sure if that's going to make a big difference or not. And I think in a couple of the future videos, as I get time, I'm probably going to go back and revisit pigmentation and that kind of stuff and see if that makes a difference. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the wrap-up video and kind of share my thoughts and talk a little bit more about it. So anyways, this is what I've got for nylon. For me, the jury's still a little bit out. I'm going to definitely rethink for my own personal printing habits nylon a little bit, because again, as I mentioned, I print it typically out in the open. I may attempt to vent it. I do have HEPA-based filters in my shop, but again, you notice the 1213, it kind of indicates it's heavy on the ultrafine particles, which are not going to really be HEPA filtered. So something to think about. So Swag Shop's going to be up there. Subscribe button over there. As always, hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you're printing with bridge nylon or nylon in general. How's it working for you? What are your thoughts? Love to hear from you guys. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.
Please click like below and subscribe to the channel.